This is Chatterbinge
with Ed Kalegi and Karen Richmond.
Last night, I had the chance to become a kid again. I spent the evening with a new book that is both an education and a time machine. The new book is Lights, Camera, Lionel Trains, a photo history of an American icon. The author has written or edited more than 20 books and special interest publications about Lionel, its trains and accessories, its leaders and workers, its showrooms and displays, and its legacy. He has served for 20 years as senior editor of Classic Toy Trains magazine. It is great to say hello to Roger Carp. Roger, welcome to Chatterbinge.
Thank you so much, Ed. I appreciate the invitation to join you and your listeners.
Roger, this is quite a passion of yours. Dare I even say a lifelong passion. So let's begin here. For you, where does this passion come from?
Ed, it begins back in 1956 when, as a youngster, I received my first Lionel Trains set. I had no idea that something like this existed, and yet I vividly remember that this felt different. It felt that my parents were entrusting me with something more than a toy. It was electric. I knew it was expensive, and I knew it offered endless opportunities to grow. Very quickly, my family and I, my parents, my older sister, we were all playing with it. We were building towns. We were planning for the future. We were dreaming. And I followed that up ever since. And as I've talked with more people, I find this was going on in families across North America, where kids were given this, and then it became something that the family enjoyed. And now it's being passed along to other generations. That's the ultimate goal of my book, to get people looking at this, say on Father's Day or at the Christmas holidays, and start talking and reminiscing and growing their bonds stronger. If my book can accomplish that, it has been a tremendous success.
And I think it will. And for me, it evoked memories, very strong memories in unique ways. As I was enjoying the book, Roger, I thought back to the early 1970s when my father would take out his Lionel train set from the 1940s, and he would set them up every year under the Christmas tree. And the train whistle sounded a bit labored as it emanated from a 25-year-old transformer. And I could still hear that, and I can still smell that distinctive little aroma that came out of the transformer when it heated up so much from using it constantly from the middle of November to the early part of January. And I can still hear that distinctive sound of the train cars on those tracks that were mounted on this piece of plywood that would come in and out of the attic every year just in time for Christmas. I don't know what happened to those trains. I wish I had them to share with my son later on. But for this brief, fleeting moment last night, you took me back there. And for that, I say thank you. It was a very unique memory.
You're welcome. I look at my book as a time machine without all the noise and smoke of, I guess, a real time machine. It's a way to go back for individuals, families like you, to go back, revisit the smells, the wonderful pleasures of the smoke pills that you put inside the smokestack, or the transformer, the sounds, everything involved with Lionel electric trains. It just touches us. It touches our hearts, and it's something we can share in words and then through an experience with those of other generations. They can start asking us, why did you love these trains? And it comes from the heart. It's not a mental exercise. People are going to talk from the heart. They're going to share sentiment, because sentimental value of these trains far exceeds their monetary value, no matter what the train is. These are heirlooms. They were built to last for generations, and it just leads us into a great future.
It is a true photo book. I was blown away by the amount of distinctive photos that make up this book. So, Roger, take me into this process. Where did all of these wonderful photos come from?
Ed, I've been working for Classic Toy Trains in different editorial capacities for 35 years. And over that time, I've been collecting photographs of celebrities, movie stills that showed Lionel Trains, professional athletes. Former employees would share pictures with me, and lots of families enjoying their trains. During the pandemic, I started to ask myself, what are you going to do with these photos? Can you write essays about each one in which you go beyond the trains and you talk about their cultural value? What are you seeing? What are you seeing in the families? Why does a celebrity like Joe DiMaggio or Nat King Cole, why do they pose with these trains? And how does it make them look? It makes them look approachable. It makes them look boyish, never childish. And why so often are you seeing them with their children? And then I just got that sense I want to communicate in words what I'm seeing and share with others. We'll say, hey, that was me. That was me and my dad. That was me and my grandmother who bought my trains. And I want to tell my story so that my children and grandchildren know who I am.
The narratives that are partnered with these photos are wonderful as you enter this time machine, as you say. And Lionel Trains in our culture, and you touched on this a bit before, especially in our post-war culture, it seemed to become a DNA that connected us in a very unique way. And you talk about how, Joe DiMaggio would want to be pictured with it. But any family would want to be pictured with it. And you talked about how these were toys that were made to last through generations. So for that time in post-war America, and I just realized that's when my father got his set of Lionel Trains. Why did that happen? How did it grow so big?
Great question, Ed. Thank you. One of the reasons it grew so strongly in post-war America was that a previous generation of boys who had dreamed of Lionel Trains, because of the Great Depression and because of World War II, had to postpone gratifying their dreams. So as soon as they could after the war, often when they had the excuse of a baby girl or a baby boy, it was time to buy a Lionel Train for the family, which really meant for themselves to enjoy. And as workers at Lionel explained to me, we were building not just toys, we were really building electric appliances that were made to last. And they did last, and they were as expensive, say, as a large radio console or, say, a small washing machine after World War II. So for a family to invest in a Lionel Train, that meant a great deal. And Lionel played off this, and they said, a Lionel Train is an investment in happiness. And so families everywhere looked at them that way. They played with them together. They cherished them, and they passed them along to that next generation and that next generation.
This wonderful new book is Lights, Camera, Lionel Trains, A Photo History of an American Icon, published by Project Roar Publishing. It is available now. It makes the perfect Father's Day gift. Roger Carp, thanks for joining us here on Chatterbinge.
Thank you so much. I wish everyone a happy Father's Day.
I'm Ed Kalegi. This is Chatterbinge.
This is Chatterbinge from Audio One.